Find us on Facebook, email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or go to our website at head2headpinball.com. Welcome everybody to another Head2Head Pinball podcast, episode number 19. My name is Martin, and with me...
It's Ryan C. And we've got a special guest today, don't we, Marty?
Do we? Well, I think we do. Something very special.
All right. So I think this is our first US guest. And when I first saw this guy in the US, he was Facebook live streaming the Aliens launch party, and his phone was on less than 5% battery. And to sum up this guy in a nutshell, he was saying to the phone, to everyone that was watching the live stream, I'm going to let it run until my phone dies. And that kind of sums him up because he's always doing things to benefit the pinball community over himself. He has finished first in IFPA ranked tournaments over 125 times. He has been in the top 10 players in the world. He coined phrases such as always be cashin', shoot the toilet, and get your wallets out. He currently holds the world record for being on the most unique pinball podcast, Mr. Fun with Bonus himself, Steve Bowden. How you going, Steve?
How's that for an intro?
How you doing, gentlemen? Glad to be here. What an intro. That's awesome. That was fantastic. Always be cashing, gentlemen.
Always be cashing.
That's the rule. That's what keeps us surviving in the tournament scene. And you got to get that money so you can get to the next tournament.
Well, I mentioned that on a couple of episodes ago that was actually what got me through on Game of Thrones. I started a mode and someone said to me, why? And I said, because Steve Bowden said, always be cashing. And that's what got me through.
That's right. Whatever you can do to make it through to the next round. It doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to get you through. That's all.
Exactly.
Now, Steve, talk to us a little bit about your background and how did your venture into pinball start?
Oh, it's going to be one of those stories about, when I played pinball as a child when I grew up. Yeah, it becomes where, when I started playing pinball was basically when I went with my family to the local-ish flea market, and this is when there used to be arcade games in stores, so we're talking about as far back as whatever that is. I'm sure maybe older than both of you. I would go to the flea market and they would go shopping and I would go to the arcade. And so I'd play the regular, your Galagos and your Centipedes and all of that fare. And then I saw this other game, which didn't look like any of the other ones. And so I started playing that. And I started watching someone playing it and they were playing it and doing awesomely on it. And then I saw them shaking it and I thought, well, wait, that's cheating. Now you're not supposed to shake the... Right? And so I just was watching them, and then they left, and then I started playing, and then I was just flapping the ball around. I didn't understand what's going on. And then once I started nudging the game, I didn't know what I was doing, but once I started nudging it, I said, hey, I don't know if it's cheating, but I know I'm playing longer if I do this. So I'm going to keep doing that. And then I just took a moment to look at all the other normal arcade games and just say, well, nudging those games wouldn't matter. There's nothing to nudge in those. I mean, nudging Galaga doesn't make sense. So that immediately made pinball more fun to me, the fact that I could affect the path of what I'm doing. And then that's when I started learning about what these targets were and meanwhile I'm like, I don't know how old I was, 7, 6, I forget, but so just as much as my little brain could handle, and then just figuring out these score these points and these score these points and the mathematics and trying to figure out how to flip and last longer. And then I just became hooked, and really just all since then I've been playing off and on until I figured out that there were actually leagues and things to compete in. So that was a whole other stage. But yeah, that's kind of my halfway origin story. My halfway origin story that I posted on my site somewhere, basically because I didn't want to forget it. People ask me what's my first game, and I don't remember. I just know I just know it was either Pinbot, Space Shuttle, or Space Station. It was one of those three. And I think I can eliminate Pinbot from that. I think it was either Space Shuttle or Space Station, based on what I think I'm remembering what it looked like, but I'm not sure.
So out of those two, because those two sort of came out at the same time, and they're both space themed. One's a shuttle, one's a station. Which one do you prefer? Because Space Station itself has got a bit of an unusual layout with no in-lanes.
Right. Yeah. That's which one would I prefer? I think Space Shuttle right now. Yeah. You know what? Space Station has that music though. Wait a minute. I just remember how awesome the Space Station music is. That's pretty close. That's a dilemma. That's going to be a dilemma. You know, I might have to give the slight win to Space Station just for the high score music, really. Yeah, redock now. Redock now. Yeah, you know what? Space Station wins it. Yeah, for redock now and that pressure of them, you know, saying, redock now. You know, you got to redock. Go hurry up. And they're trying to get you flustered. And then, you know, once you do get the high scores, there's that celebration. And yeah, okay, yeah, I got to give it to Space Station. Yeah.
So you played pinball as a child, and obviously when you're a teenager, no one can afford a pinball machine, and you can't really get out because you have to go to school and whatnot. When did the bug really hit where you became obsessed, or, you know, however you want to call it, with pinball?
Well, I guess it might have been two parts. I mean, I had the bug, then I lost it because I didn't know where to find the pinball, and then it came back. So like I had the bug in high school where I knew where the arcades were, where they had a lot of games. And then once I graduated high school, went to college, I sort of dropped back a bit because there weren't as many available. And then I started finding where all the arcades were, and then it came back. So it's just kind of availability. So I guess if I had always known where a game was, then I wouldn't have never lost it, you know, so... But I really did get caught up in it once I started competing. Like once I figured out, these are the leagues, these are the pinball leagues. There are leagues in my area that I can compete in, and here are these other people who play, you know, on a weekly basis, like I want to, and so I can get better and play them and see where I am. And you know, it really started when I was posting high scores in places, and then I posted a high score while a league was going on, and then one of the players says, "Oh, you're SSB," and I said, "Yeah, that's me." And I said, "Please don't." They were about to, I think, clear the high scores on Twitter. I don't care what you do, but leave that high score up, please. And that was my initials. It's like, "Oh, you're SSB. Oh, you're the one that has all these scores. You need to compete in the league with us." And so that's kind of how that started. So I was sort of roped in that way.
And so you're located in New Jersey. Do you have access to a lot of machines around you?
It's an okay amount of machines. I mean, the place that I go to most often is named 8 on the Break. They are 20 minutes away from me, so that's my home arcade, we could say. And you know, they don't have many games. They have about 10 games there, but they all work great and they're all good. I mean, Metallica's there, Star Wars Stern is there, and so it's the games that I want to play. Dialed In is there, so Aerosmith is coming there. So even though it's a place that's dominated by fighting games and dancing games, the Bimani series and things like that, they have the fighting game championships there for East Coast championships all the time there, where you can't even get in the building. But they have pinball games there, and that's where our league meets. And we just finished a season this past week, and then we're gonna pick up the next season in the spring when we start up. And then, you know, I'll also go to other places like Silver Ball Museum in Asbury Park is reasonably close. That's about 40 minutes. And then it becomes New York, you know, and it becomes going to New York City, which can be a bit of a trip, but and also it being New York, you know, with taxis that feel they're invincible and you just run through anything. So that's a different sort of pressure. But yeah, that's of course the New York scene. That's where all the great games are, and a lot of the great sites to play, like Modern Pinball, Sunshine Laundromat, things like that. So yeah, so because I'm okay with driving, I can get to any place. So, but as far as closeness, 8 on the Break is my home arcade. That's where I play all the time.
Well, do you have any games at home? I know you had a Game of Thrones Premium that was kind of still in a box. Is that still in a box?
It's still in a box.
Okay.
Yep. It's still in the box, just basically because I don't have room to put it anywhere.
So winter has never come.
It's never come. It's still in the box. Yeah. So I have Congo, the Shadow, Pinball Pool, which was the first game that I won, the Gottlieb one. That's the first game I ever won. Pinball Pool, World Cup Soccer, which is the first game I ever bought. The mentioned Game of Thrones Premium, and then Demo Man and Judge Dredd, which I got in a combination deal. So like it's one of those where I bought low. Like I bought when the market was low. So like I got a working Demolition Man for $1,200, things like that, for $1,200 US dollars. So I can't refuse that. And then with that was a working Judge Dredd with the working Oddworld, you know, spinner.
Oh, the mod,
with yeah, that mod working for 1200, so I can't not do that.
Where are all these games? I mean, you said you don't have room to set them up. Are any of them set up, or are they all in storage? Or
no, they're set up in this one row of kind of where I can put things, and so then there's the Game of Thrones sitting in the box. So in order for me to set that up, I'd have to kind of get rid of one just to have the space to put it there. So none of them are in storage other than the Game of Thrones.
So if one had to go, what would it be?
Oh, let's see. One had.
He can't answer that because he's had the Game of Thrones for 2 years. So obviously you can't answer that question.
All right, let's just say I'm forcing you to get rid of one. What would it be?
It forced me to get rid of one. It'd probably be the one I'd have the most problems. Which one have I had the most problems with? Let's see. Would it be? No, I'm not getting rid of Pinball Pool because I won that one. That's like some special, like it would be that one, but I won that one. So why would I get rid of that one? I don't know. That's tough. It wouldn't be World Cup.
I don't think we're going to get an answer.
I'd have to really think about that.
So of all games that are available at the moment, do you have a favorite game?
Of all the new games that are available,
yeah, for sure.
I like it, and as far Dialed In, really. Dialed In's awesome.
Yeah, I love Dialed In. I always say that.
Love it. It's Dialed In. I mean, my favorite game my favorite game of all is Stern Spider-Man. That's one.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. But and then you have it's Stern Spider-Man, and then it's the Twilight Zone, which are the 1 and 1A of my favorites list, depending on which one is there.
All right, Steve, you have to convince Martin that Twilight Zone is good because he doesn't like Twilight Zone. So, explain to us why you like Twilight Zone.
Well, I know why, and I can even devil's advocate for you, Martin, because I know that it's a 3-shot game when you're good at it. That's what it is. It's left, right, piano. Left, right, piano. That's what it is. And then if you can get the Powerball out, put the Powerball back, and get multi-ball. So I mean, but that's precisely why I like it. I mean, I like the 3-way combo. I like doing the 4-way combo. I like getting the Powerball out and building a huge Powerball, jackpot, bonus collecting that way. So, and I like that the modes that most of them have different music in it, so I don't ever have to look at the screen and I know exactly where I am in the game, and the choreography of the game. Like I like how if I get a ball, if I'm in multi-ball and I shoot a ball into the slot machine, but then right before the ball comes out, the ball realizes I shot the right ramp. It will wait for the ball to come to the upper left flipper to give me a shot at the jackpot before the other ball comes out. So that game choreography is there to help you. So I like how it does that. One of the great moments I like in the game is the way the sound choreography works, where if you have that hurry up, that's say you failed multi-ball and you have to relight the lock. And you have that hurry up music saying, get it back in faster. And the extra ball's lit, right? So if you shoot it with the music going, if you shoot the extra ball and the multi-ball relight, all the sound will go off and they'll play the extra ball, hi, this is Talking Tina, with everything quiet, and then explosion, boom, then multi-ball starts. It's just a little moment that I like in there. It's little things that they really worked on when they put some love in that game, that if you play it for a long time, you can really hear it. Like you can just really hear the love they put in that game that I like. Of course, the entire left, like the lower left side of the playfield is forfeit. I mean, you have that bumper area that you just never want to touch. That's part of it. I mean, so I can understand that part. That could be a minus if you don't like, I can say if you don't like the game, because the entire lower left is like, why even be in there? But I really like playing it. I always have to, when I see it, I always have to put some money in it and give it a few rounds and see what's going on. Get that power field. Another good thing I like about it is getting the power field and doing that one hitter quitter move on it. Wait until it drops down to a specific spot, hit the right flipper once, goes right in the center, and you get out. One punch to the face and it's over. I love that. I love it when you can master that. Yeah, to shoot come down, bang, do it.
So what I can gather from like the way you're talking about pinballs, I mean, probably the two things that you appreciate the most in pinball is one, kind of shot flow, like combos. You talked about Spider-Man and Dialed In. You love hitting those combos. and sound. Well, besides rules, of course. Are those the two things that you love the most about pinball?
That's it. Yes, the rules and the sounds. That's really what it is. Dialed In is some of the catchiest music. I mean, David Theo, big respect. I mean, sound is very important to me, and Dialed In has some of the catchiest songs there. I mean, that man did a great job.
Have you played 1.5 yet?
I played 1.5. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Did you notice all the subtle differences in the sounds?
Yeah. The new multi-ball call out, when you get it, it's deeper and I guess it's supposed to be more authoritative. Now you're dialed in, it's slower, and the new lottery music is fun. That's really good, and especially the chaos mode, the new Chaos in Quantum City. That's Do you put your shades on for that one? Did you bring your glasses? Not that one. I thought I would. Have, like, when I first saw it, I thought, okay, this is going to be one of those modes where I have to put glasses on, but no, I think it's the colors or something. Maybe it's the flashing rate that doesn't mess with me as much, but I don't need it. I don't need to do anything for that mode. It's okay, and it's strange. Maybe it's good. Yeah.
Just to explain this to people, so you recently started bringing shades glasses to pinball tournaments for games like Game of Thrones and Ghostbusters to stop your retinas from turning out.
No, it's to stop the pain. And this is, I mean, I've had fun. I'm having fun with it, but it's true. It does hurt. I mean, especially when I'm playing Ghostbusters multi-ball, it's really bad. When I know I'm going to hit the jackpot, and I see the light pattern shine directly and everywhere, and I have to grab the side of the game. It just forces me to do it so that I can try to squint my eyes and just try to look at it, and try to look at the ball where I think it is, and then get back in control. And that kind of happens, especially on Ghostbusters. I bring sunglasses to every tournament just in case Ghostbusters is good. Because it's pretty bad in that multi-ball. It's not good. But once I can survive that, if I can try and find a place in the game to look away from a light that's particularly flashing, or that's really too bright, that can get, like, there's some games that have, like, if you have a Tron, which like Trons with certain lights that, I don't know, is it the type of light or whatever it is, but there's Trons where there's one blue light in the upper right corner of the game.
There is one light which they totally forgot to cover with any any plastics or anything, and Tron came out with incandescence. So when incandescents are there, it's okay. When I LED'd my machine, I know the one you're talking about, it's right next to Gem.
Right.
It really pierces the corner of your eye, and every other light is okay, but when I put that in there, I'm like, wow, that is the worst light placement ever. As I said, it's meant to be an incandescent. I changed that out to the weakest LED I could, because I had the same issue. It's that Gem light, which you can either remove it or don't put an LED in there in that one.
Right. Which is good, because again, I make sure that I ask people if they see it too, because I mean, when I first saw it, I thought it was just me. That, okay, maybe my eyes are screwed up or something. I'll just deal with it. And then once I started hearing other people noticing the same thing was happening, I was like, oh, okay, well, at least it's not just me having this problem. It's an actual thing.
Is there a pinball dictionary word for that one? Like the one LED that's not meant to be there?
I don't know. I need to make one though. But I mean, usually, those ideas usually come from the community, unless it just gets spawned out of nowhere, like the placebo power that was just recent. That was just placebo power. Just came while we were at the tournament, while we were at Flippers OBX in North Carolina, the recent recent circuit event, circuit event major, and people were like, I could swear the power is still on. We know it's disabled. We know it's deactivated, but we because that thing was playing so strangely. We could swear it was on, and so here I am just sitting in line waiting to play, and then placebo power just came to me, and so I just said it out loud, and they laughed, and other people laughed, and I was like, okay, we got it.
Cool. So for those people that don't know, I mean, if you go to funwithbonus.com, it's all there, and all this information that Steve puts up about the pinball community. But one of the things, and it was one of the first things, besides all the commentary that you do on the tournaments, was the fact that you've got this new pinball dictionary, and there is almost like a Wikipedia pinball dictionary, which is very serious and therefore very boring, but obviously informative. But you've got the new pinball dictionary, which is things like, placebo power, I think, or phantom power, we call it as well. Right. And I've just got to say, my favourite one is chimp flipping or seal flipping. And I just want to read this out because this is it's not just the name that's fantastic. It's also the descriptions you've got. So this one, seal flipping, is a move performed by inexperienced players wherein they press both flipper buttons at the same time repeatedly. This makes them look like a trained seal that is clapping their hands together. This practice has also been known as chimp flipping, gorilla flipping, or just about any animal that claps its hands together vigorously, prefixed before the word flipping. Seal flipping wins the headline of this entry because of the animated GIF that you can see there.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to find something that would that would at least display what it is, and then I just happened to see this. You'll see the GIF up there, and so I figured, hey, I can put some speech bubbles to that and explain it, and there you go. So that's why seal flipping won the entry. But yeah, it was basically I heard gorilla flipping, or especially chimp flipping. I heard a lot, and so I just had to pick one. And seal flipping one.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have a particular entry in the dictionary that you love that just always makes you smile every time you read it?
Oh man, can I? No, I would cheat and say that the one that is the nomenclature of my site. I mean, when I had to say, okay, I'm going to have to explain fun with bonus now, because I hadn't yet. So I had put a few of them up, and then I said, okay, if I'm going to now have to explain fun with bonus and why I named that way, because it's my favorite concept. The fact that you don't just show someone the points you have, you scroll it up and do crazy music and do lots of things, and then that's your bonus. It's just explaining what that is, because it's something that you don't notice unless someone tells you that's what it is. And it's something that's done all over the place. Like if you look on TV and there's a telethon on, they don't tell you that they just raised $4 million. They start the number at 0, and then they scroll it up through all the numbers until they get to $4 million. They're doing the same thing. They're just making it look fun. Like elections do that. They don't just say that candidate X got 47 and candidate Y got 43%. They take both numbers from 0 and scroll it up to those numbers and put bar graphs in front of it and make it look attention getting. That's the same concept. I don't know what they would call it, but that's essentially what I'm trying to explain with what that term is supposed to mean. And then, really knowing, about Cameron Silver and from Williams, who coined the word and everything, just try to explain that it's a real thing, or as real as what was created back then. So I guess that would kind of be my favorite, I guess.
Well, it's interesting because a couple of weeks ago, on November 7th, I can see it there, I saw it come up, it was Brain Drain. And what I really liked about this is it has happened many times, particularly in a tournament, and it always seems to happen when there's a crowd around and the ball comes to the flipper, and for some reason your brain just doesn't work and it just drains, and you think, why did I not flip? I don't get it. And it was really good that this has come up, so I know that other people are experiencing this as well.
It's the strangest thing. Like, and not only do you not flip, it's like, your brain told your finger to move. You could swear your finger was supposed to move, and yet it did not move. And the ball is just going down. You don't know how your finger didn't move. Right? And all you can do is just walk away from it. I mean, because you're not going to get mad at yourself, really. You just gotta walk away and let the next player step up, really.
Steve, I want you to explain Lance Armstrong.
Okay, yeah, that's an early one. Yeah, the Lance Armstrong. That's an early that one. I think was a contribution from the tournament scene. A lot of these are from the tournament scene. A lot of these from people who have competed in tournaments and come up with these words. Which is why I'm trying to do what I can to not be the final arbiter of what goes on the main page. That's why I have the post on Tilt Forums, which is the main one that if you want to contribute to, you can do that. But yeah, I mean, what do we know about Lance Armstrong? Right? it's the fact
He's a cheater and he has one testicle.
Okay, well, the first part. the first part I couldn't really work in because at that time I don't think it was fully realized the amount of his cheating at the time of July 24th, 2012. I don't know, maybe it was, it wasn't, but I would, but the other part definitely the fact that in pinball it only takes one ball to win, no matter where you are. So that's. And so any game you can always come back. So so that's why. Now let's try to explain it, and then you'll see that I try to have the reference in there. So I posted the video before it to show of it being used in practice. So I do have so if I have a reference, I'll usually post a reference. Or what will happen is I'll have a word there that was suggested by someone, but I won't have a reference, so I'll wait for the reference to come for me to do it. And then sometimes it's just me not being able to post things up as fast as I want to, because you'll notice on the main page there are a lot of them that don't have buttons. They're just there in text. Like they don't have an orange button, but they'll have, like, for example, kill screen, last man plunging, liquid skill, things like that.
Yeah.
It's just ones that I haven't done yet because I'm the only one posting it. So since I don't have a staff, I ain't Kotaku yet. So even though I'd like to be, it's just because of things that I haven't posted. And so that's why I suggest, hey, if you have an idea, go to the Tilt Forums posts and you'll see the new Pinball Dictionary and make a post there, because a lot of the people there are really, they're really good people and they're really good players and they really like to have fun with this. So that the Tilt Forums post has been the best post so far. Has been the best place so far to do this stuff. And then if something is really cool or really fun or really really attention getting, I'll give it like special editorial dispensation and just advance it to this page. But again, I'm not trying to be the final arbiter of this. That's bad internet. I mean, the good internet is putting it on a community page like Tilt Forums and having a lot of people be able to contribute to it. Otherwise, they'll be waiting for me, and I'm trying to continue to post every day on other things. So, but I try to keep this up. As much as I can because it's just so fun to do. It's fun and funny to do.
Well, I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is on there, and this kind of comes from I told my friend that we're going to be interviewing you, Steve, and his question was, I said, do you want to ask him any questions? And he said, ask him why he is always so happy, right? And but and the term that I want to that I kind of talk about with my friends is pinball fatigue. When you're involved in the pinball scene too much and you do too many things, you spend too much time playing, reading about pinball, that you just you don't want to look at a pinball for a couple of days to kind of reset yourself. Right. Do you ever suffer from that or? Oh
yeah, recently, yes, I have. Did I just back off? Definitely. I definitely suffered from some burnout, and I knew I was suffering from some burnout because I thought in my head, am I suffering from burnout? So that's when I realized I think I am. I need to back off a bit. I'm still going to post every day. Let's not get crazy. I'm still doing that. But I won't go to a tournament or something or go to an event and then maybe back off for a few days. And then once I got back into it, the first couple of events I went to, I had won. It's like, okay, cool. That was smart. Okay, I was smart. I backed off, came back, did better. So, yeah, I can definitely see that happening. If you get too far into anything, you can burn out and suffer pinball fatigue. But see, I'm trying to use it in sentences to get people used to it, so they can see it being used. That's how you get it out there. But yeah, I can definitely see that happening. But So
with a question from my friend, are you a half glass full kind of person? Like, you always seem to be pretty positive on your outlook on pinball. Do you ever get down on pinball, or are you just a happy person?
Well, I mean, I like to think I'm a happy person, but I mean, I can see myself getting down on pinball if I don't know. When have I ever been down on pinball? I don't know. I always seem to find a bright side to it if I can, But yeah, I don't. You'll know when I'm down on pinball when I don't post at all.
Yeah.
If I break the streak that's gone on for 5 years. Then you'll know that
every day for 5 years. Is that what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but back at July 1st, 2012, I had to lose the old database because I couldn't convert it right, and so I figured, okay, if I'm going to start a new database for the blog or whatever, then I'm going to try and post every day and see if I can do it. Now back then it wasn't as much news, so I didn't know whether I would be able to do it. Now there's news everywhere, so I know, So now it's just picking and choosing what I want to post without spamming people. So, but so it's been every day, at least something per day, once per day since July 1st, 2012. So now I've graduated to try and do 2 things per day, then 3. So, but again, since I'm by myself, I can't get to Polygon Kotaku levels because they're like 12, 20, they're like 18, 24 posts per day. Right. And I don't know if there's that much news in pinball. It could be if you could
always make up the drama, right?
Right, yeah. I could always go to places and make up drama. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose if you want to post about drama, you could do that. Yeah, it would be that constant, but not if I'm posting about news and tournaments and strategies and weird things I find, and the occasional definition or something new, or maybe a music remix track, which was a recent thing that started. That's one thing I wish I had more time to do, because I'm such into music, and I kind of know how to use music trackers. So we'll see about that, But I'm still going strong with it, and I like what it's become. I definitely would like to see it, of course, get more popular. That's why I do it. But hey, it's really cool to stay in the scene and just try to stay up with the stuff and just keep it fun and keep it moving and just go to the tournament. I love when I go to places and they come up to me and say, "Hey, I think you're that guy from that site," and I say, "Yeah, that's me." Hi.
Well, we get that all the time now, of course.
Right? Don't you get people come up to you and like they know you before you know them?
I know.
Which is kind of a thing. So that's kind of a weird, a little bit awkward, especially for me when I'm trying to meet people. Yeah. And then once you talk to them, and then everything's cool, and then they say, "Oh, thank you for doing this."
Well, speaking of that, I'm guilty because I was one of those people when I first met you at It Never Drains in Southern California. Right. So this was January 2016, and it's really interesting because it was when I met you for the first time, and like Ryan has said, you were really positive. However, I think you like to find the fun in, obviously, fun with bonus, there you go. But I think you like to find the fun in every situation. And the particular time I met you, I sat down next to you and we were in the Classics Bank at Indisc.
Okay. Yeah.
and so he's this is good, sort of leading up to my question, because I remember talking to you going, "Hey Steve, I know who you are and I'm from Australia," and you were like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." And then I said, "How are you going?" And you just went, "These classics. Oh my God, these classics." But you're still, laughing about and having a good time. But my question is, and I've heard it at other times as well, classics is really not where you are actually at your most fun, is it?
Well, sometimes. Well, it depends on the classics. Okay, if you give me Grand Prix, I'm ready to go. That's my favorite EM ever. You'll give me Paragon, let's tap pass, let's do it, things like that. So it depends on the game. But if you're giving me a single player EM mini flipper tilt ends game, oh boy. I am prejudiced against those games. I don't know. I guess I just don't know. Because the reason is because it doesn't give me an opportunity to learn how much to nudge. Once I learn how much to nudge, the game's over, because I just learned how much I can nudge. I just tilted out, So that there is what gives me pause as playing regarding playing those games. But it's still I still like the challenge of trying to figure it out and see if I can figure out what to do and trying to figure out where those plunges are to get to, because especially on those older games where the skill shot is so important, it could be the whole game.
Well, especially when you can't get the ball back up the top. The challenge ones, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, especially when you're falling below and you're like, okay, these flippers are not strong enough to do anything. So I'm just gonna try and hope and just try and look at someone who knows how to play these games and figure out, man, what are they doing to stay alive? Because they're doing it. It's not like it's luck. They're certainly doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just I'm not doing what they're doing. So I'm trying to figure out, wow, where was the nudge that they did that made it, just a little bit off so that they can stay alive, and also try to remind myself, don't try to do the modern tricks on the old games. Just fling at it and go for it. Don't try to drop, stop, and post pass, and don't do all that. You're just asking for death. Just shoot it. And it was like, okay, once I started shooting it, just going for it, then I started doing a little better. I just stop getting into the trap of trying to control it so much, especially on the older mini flipper games.
I was watching Ron on the Slam Tilt podcast play Stars, and his number one advice was, well, it's actually when you posted, because I forgot to watch it. You posted on Fun with Bonus, and his number one thing that he said was, don't try and be cute and trap up the ball and go for your shots. Just, if the ball gets to the flipper, flip it. You know?
That's correct. That's right. When the ball gets to the flipper, flip it. There are very few times where there are very few times in that where I've done a drop stop and knew I was going to do it, just get a target. And so when I heard him say it, I was like, yep, okay, getting cute has been used enough to be a definition. So I just have to, because I've heard that so many times, especially on classics games, like, don't get cute with it. Just go for it. So, and that's exactly true on Stars, because Stars is pain. It's pain, but it's that good pain, and you have the pain, you die, and then you put more money in, because there's always that time where you just might get that triple bonus, and you just might get that 100,000 special, and you just might rule that game for about 20 seconds, and then you drain. And so that's what makes Stars so respected and awesome. And like it used to be a sleeper hit. Now it's just a hit. Now I'm surprised the values of Stars hasn't gone completely up. You know, there's just I don't know. Maybe we're gonna help do that. Just the more we talk about it, the more it's gonna go up.
So at Papa this year, when again I saw you usually only have about a day and a bit to qualify for A division on the main tournament. Did you do any of the side classic tournaments this year?
No, unfortunately, no. I don't do classics because I need as much time as I can for A division, just to see how much I can do. And I hate not going in classics. Because of the opportunities in it. You know, it's a madhouse over there. You know, if you breathe properly over there, you probably get 5 whoppers. I need to try and get an A, especially since now it's best game format.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Scores you need are huge.
What do you think of the new format?
Well, I mean, it's tougher to qualify in the older format for me. I mean, that having that streak of 5 good games is so rough, because I've only done it once. I mean, I'll get 3, no problem. I'll get 4 occasionally, and then it's that 5th one where it's just, oh boy. But now with best game, you don't have to have that streak of games, but you have to blow up everything in order to score. So that's very much different. So it's not like, I don't know whether one is tougher than the other. Really, they're both pretty tough. I mean, if you step up to a game like, you know, Game of Thrones, and you need like $1.5 billion to be in the conversation, you know, as opposed to if you're playing like a set-based old Papa style format, where if you get, say, 600 and some change and it's part of a good ticket, then you're okay. You know, so it's just two different sides of the same coin, really, as far as difficulty. I mean, I understand why they did it. I mean, best game brings in more money. I mean, at least I hope it does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it would. It keeps the pot up and you know, makes it a more valuable tournament cash wise. At least I hope. But because I don't know the particulars of how they do that. But you know,
what's your favorite tournament format then?
Oh, it's Pinburg. Pinburg is the correct answer. It's not only, I mean, it's like saying, if someone asks you, what's your favorite Final Fantasy game? You have to say Final Fantasy 6 or 7, or you get out. You know, whatever. That used to be that way. No, it's Pinburg, and Pinburg is the correct answer. So it's guaranteed play. It's meeting all the new people. It's now you're at replay effects, and that's awesome. So even if you don't make the final, you still have lots to do there, and it's 100,000 square feet of madness and all this stuff. So it's Pinburg, and any Swiss based match play format like that. Yeah, I like that. So that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, cool.
So Guardians of the Galaxy stream happened on Monday with Dead Flip. Did you watch that stream, Steve?
Yeah, I watched as much of it as I could. I watched just about all of it. Yeah, I think I was in and out a bit, but yeah, I got to most of that. Oh yeah, because I wanted to see because I saw the videos leading up to it. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm expecting, and here we go. Let's see what they have here. Especially since I haven't seen the movies at all. Then now that the game's coming out, I'm purposely not going to see the movie so I can judge the game as if it were an original IP.
So are you planning not to watch those movies ever, or are you saying
I'll watch it after I play it? I'll watch it after I play the game. And so I'm going to avoid it until after I play the game, and so I can judge the game on its own merit, and then watch the movie and say, okay, this is why these 2 songs are in it. You know, I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure everyone's saying that we've got to have the songs in the game. Okay, we got to have the songs in the game. Okay, cool. And then I saw the songs. I'm like, okay, we got to have more of the songs in the game. The songs are so important, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate music being an important part of a thing. I mean, music is a very important part of a pinball game to me. That's why I try not to wear headphones during play, because I want to hear the game. So it must be very important. So I'll hold off on the movie until I get my first chances on the game, and then I'll be able to compare it that way.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of people playing, but I think the person who played the best was a 15-year-old who was having his birthday there, Zach Parks. And
he destroyed. He destroyed.
He was so
constantly.
Good.
He did everything right. He's like, okay, this is how we play it. Okay, not only we're going to reveal the game. Now we're going to reveal how to do all the flipper techniques on the. He was the tutorial. It was him.
Yeah,
I mean, he was the tutorial. This is what you do. This is how you're.
Zach Danger.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what it was. I mean, he was doing all cradle separations. He was doing, double supers. He was doing everything. He was destroyed it. And it's not like he did it once. Like, he did it again. He did two separate games. Then he did it one-handed. It was ridiculous.
Now, Steve, you're probably like one of the masters of looking at a game or looking at gameplay and kind of trying to dissect the rules of what's going on. I think you can pick that up pretty quickly. So I'm going to quickly run through what I saw and picked up from that stream, and then let's see if there's what I've missed out on. Right. So it seems to be a pretty long playing game. To activate double scoring, you hit the rocket shot 6 times. And then you hit him again during that double scoring to boost the multiplier. The songs start playing after you finish a mode, which is the opposite of most pinball machines that play music while you're in a mode. The main group multi-ball, you hit the each shot, and it starts off at a base and increases by 100k each shot. And then you get the double halfway through, and then the super, I believe. Orb multi-ball is you hit the orb, then hit a shot, hit the orb, hit a shot. You just keep on doing those 2 things. There was a ball save on group multi-ball when he spits the ball out after double scoring, but the ball never went down the middle, so they'll probably get rid of that in the final code. What did I miss? What else did you see?
I think that was pretty much all of it. You got the crank it up feature, right? That's back. Right, so we have the Crank It Up feature, which is to enhance the scoring in the modes, but the Crank It Up feature is in the same spot as Metallica's Crank It Up. That's going to be confusing. Well, they didn't call it Crank It Up; they called it Upgrade, because Crank It Up doesn't make sense, I guess, in the Guardians world. So I guess so that's called the Upgrade.
I mean, what is Crank It Up? Is in like crank up the volume? Is that what it comes from Metallica and Aerosmith? Crank It Up.
I would get from the original one was on Metallica, where Crank It Up is a mode, is a separate song. You play a different song in it, and then that was an innovative. That's an innovative mode where you collect enough items in the main game of Metallica, enough snakes, enough coffins, and enough crosses, and enough electric chairs to qualify the Crank It Up mode, where you pick a song and you essentially play that song. It gives you however long that song is. Like, say a song is 5.5 minutes, so you have 5.5 minutes, up to 5.5 minutes, to build up a jackpot using the shots that the game wants you to make. Like, for example, was it Fade to Black on Metallica's Crank It Up mode, where you select that and every switch hit goes up to a point where you score points for. You get a certain number of switch hits, you score some points, and then those points go into the jackpot. So you can sort of build it up and cash it out when you want, but you're risking it. So you're risking draining the ball and losing those bonus points there. So it's really the risk reward there. I mean, that's really what really attracts people to Crank It Up, is the risk reward feature, which has nothing to do with Guardians of the Galaxy Crank It Up.
But isn't it now that Crank It Up is like the alternative missions that were on Star Trek?
Right, so Crank It Up is so Star Trek. What was it? The away team.
The shots are the same though, right? Away team was different shots.
Right.
on Aerosmith and I haven't played much Aerosmith, but Aerosmith and Guardians of the Galaxy is just extra time and extra points, right?
Well, the shots do change on Aerosmith.
Okay.
Yes.
They do change. Oh yeah, so there's a little bit different. It's supposed to make it a tad harder to complete for greater scoring. So yeah, Aerosmith definitely does that. If you do Walk This Way, I think is one of the ramp mode where you choose that. Then if you crank it up, then only the ramps are lit.
Yeah.
But it's for bigger scoring. Okay, so it does change the shots.
But at least with Star Trek, you've got to hit the ball under the right flipper, so it's very deliberate to actually activate the alternate modes. The problem with crank it up in Aerosmith, if you don't want it, chances are it's going to go in the scoop anyway.
Right, at some point. It'll probably end up in there.
Yeah.
And then you'll get it, and then it's like, oh, maybe there's a time where you didn't want to do it. Because sometimes you want to have all the shots lit, or for some reason. Because I know, for example, in Star Trek Stern, when I play, when I'm playing Nero, I don't want to do the away team and make it the targets. I'd rather just have the shots.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually doing Nero with Klingon multi-ball, so I'm going for the ramps anyway. So I'm going to shoot the ramps, and then I'm going to shoot the ramps and the shots for Nero and for the multi-ball as well. If I do Nero and I change it to the targets, sometimes what will happen is I'll hit all the shots, but I'll forget to hit any of the targets. And so once I drain out a multi-ball, I'm sitting here with just the targets lit and a huge timer, and I'm sort of in jail. I'm in jail now. No, I don't want to do that. So there are some times when I don't want to crank it up.
It's funny because there are some modes that really... you know what I mean? Like I struggle to start album multi-ball on AC/DC because you don't want to go for those drop targets or those stand-ups. But my wife starts album multi-ball before jam every single time because she's flailing around, the ball's going left or right. Mm-hmm. And in Thunderstruck on AC/DC, hitting those targets, and as you said, Nero, there are some modes that really work for a player who is somehow flailing around and surviving, whereas someone with a skill such as yours prefer a clean shot that returns to the flipper, right?
Well, that would depend. Like, for example, on AC/DC, if this is the first time I'm playing it, for sure I'm picking Thunderstruck because I don't know where the shots are yet. So I want to be rewarded for missing. So if I'm going to miss the ramp, I'm probably going to hit a target, which means I'm probably going to hit the Thunderstruck target. And so I'll get more scoring. So then once I get used to the shot, then I'll switch to Hell's Bells, the traditional strategy or whatever. But it doesn't matter if you can get back in control. I mean, if you can shoot all the targets and light album multi-ball, as long as you don't die, fine. And that's fine. So that's okay.
So what were your overall impressions then of Guardians of the Galaxy based on what you've seen so far?
All right. Well, based on what I saw so far, I was. It looks like it's a good start. I mean, but it looks like it's an amalgamation of 4 games, put together. It's the greatest hits, and code will make it different, I think. I mean, but it looks like it's going to be fun. I guess maybe I'm going to hope for better choreography on the music. I mean, because again, I'd rather hear the musical score from the movie or whatever. I mean, it's fine having the 2 popular songs in it. I mean, because I don't know how they relate yet. Because again, I haven't seen the movie. But I mean, it looks like it's going to be fun. I mean, it's pinball, so there is a baseline of fun being brought forward that's sort of guaranteed because it's pinball. So I can find the fun in the least fun pinball game I can find. But here, I mean, yeah, it looks like it's the greatest hits, and so let's see what happens with this. And I mean, all the people who watch the movie and don't know about the other games will just buy the game, and they won't care that it's the greatest hits because they won't know about that these elements will come from other games, so it doesn't matter to them. So that's cool. So it's going to come down to code. Let's just see how these elements work together, and we'll see how much different it is from the other games, because it's got to be a little bit different. It's not going to be the same.
Right. Yeah, we talked about again, Star Trek and Spider-Man have got fairly similar layouts. They don't play anything alike at all.
Right. Yeah. If you go up to Star Trek and you look at Spider-Man, Star Trek looks like it's Spider-Man's younger brother. I mean, it really does until you play it and it's like, oh, okay, I can see the differences. And so it'll be the same for Guardians. I think they'll make it act just a little bit differently, and things will work out. I mean, I just wish it didn't feel like it's taboo to mention that it's similar. I mean, I felt that while I was watching the stream. I was like, no, it's okay. Just say that this is from here, because people who play this other game will know. Oh, okay, this is how I do it, and because I remember from this game, it's just in a different place.
John Ball did say something, right? Someone asked.
Finally, I was like, yes, okay, just say, these are good rules, just being brought forward into a different area. So let's mention that this is from here, and this is from here, and this is kind of from Star Trek, and this is kind of like elevator multi-ball, and so so it's just, if you can make it better, make it better. I mean, they made Kiss better and made Aerosmith, so I mean, we can make it better.
Well, okay, so then let's talk about another machine that was released recently, and I know that you were there the day it was launched, and this is Pirates of the Caribbean by Jersey Jack.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I think you were like, obviously besides the Buffalo crew, you were one of the first people in the world to play it. It is completely different. The rules
that is
really different. So what do you think they're juxtaposed against the likes of Pirates of the Caribbean being released?
Well, as far as differences in rule set and how like Pirates is not like anything. So I mean, I'm definitely enjoying how different that is. I mean, it's definitely, Pirates was definitely not slow. It was a fast wide body, which I didn't even know could happen. And I'm playing it. I'm saying, okay, the only thing slow about this game is when you're up in the upper right where the ship is tilting back and forth, and even that's dangerous because they were saying that, okay, the boat's not going one way or the other. We're going to fix that. And it's going to really mess with you when you get up there. There's going to be where it goes left and right. And there's going to be where it tries to deke you out, so it's trying to fake you and do other things to try and mess with you. So, and yeah, so that's going to be really exciting when that gets fleshed out with 22 characters and all the strategy of that, and how that it's not necessarily bad to go first in that game because you can choose a character and lock someone out from choosing the characters. So I like that. Anything that takes away some of the advantages of going last, I like. Just to balance that out a bit.
Would you prefer, say today you walked up to a tournament and there were two games there, Guns of the Galaxy, where you kind of know the rules, and Pirates of the Caribbean, where no one really knows how to play it yet? Would you prefer something like Pirates of the Caribbean, because you're quick to pick up on rules and where the shots are, or do you prefer something that you're comfortable with and know the rules like everyone else and beat them on skill?
Well, part of the skill is learning the rules quickly. So, especially if you have a game that just, if Pirates just showed up, then part of the skill is who can learn the rules the fastest. So, I mean, that's not like it's less of a skill, it's just a different skill. So, I mean, I would like to have Pirates there just so I can notice how people are learning the rule sets, and also to learn it, to see how fast I can learn it. Really, if we were just at a tournament, I mean, it would be fun if we could possibly be at a tournament where the tournament releases the game. So like back in the day where they'd have video games tournaments, and the first game played were at this big event. They just revealed, oh, it's Toy Story, and no one's played it since yet, and we're at Papa 23, and it's and we got to play it now just to see, and nobody has any idea of anything. But that's probably would never happen. I mean, because everything leaks and everybody says things about the rules and stuff.
Plus,
so.
half of these competition players are now working for the for the manufacturers. Right?
Right.
It's Keith Elwin's Deadpool with Keith Elwin playing it first.
Right. And we all know. Right, yeah. We see Keith own the game, just about loop the entire game, get to a point where we can't play anymore because it's not even coded yet. Okay, we saw it. Okay. We've seen it. So yeah, but that would be interesting to see if we can get a new game game just to have the first game be the tournament game, and then what'll happen is, I mean, of course we'd have to hope that everything works by then, because it would be beta code, and so essentially the tournament would be the beta testers, and so what would happen is after the tournament everything would get updated. Okay, we got to fix this, all right, and that's essentially what happens. I mean, have you noticed? I mean, have you really noticed that tournaments tend to spawn code releases because the people who code really care about playing games well, and so they kind of see what's happening in live areas. So, if people who don't care about tournaments, I mean, sometimes
they're designing these machines so people have the most enjoyment, and so invariably what you find is if they've seen that somebody are just doing repeatable shots, they're missing the rest of the game. They'll either nerf that shot or they'll do it so they'll make other areas lucrative. So you've actually got more to do, as well as it being a really solid tournament game. It's also a fun game in its own right.
Exactly. As long as they can have that balance, that's what they're trying to work on. They're trying to work on balance, and a lot of ways to improve balance is at a tournament or other competitions. Especially when we have people who program the games in the tournament and they look and they see a problem in progress. That's awesome to see. It's like I remember being at a tournament. I think it was tournament years ago. I'm forgetting where, but from where I remember, it was like we were seeing. We were playing Tron. It's like, well, wait a minute. Why does Clue turn off the light cycles? That's bad. Got to fix that. Next version, Clue didn't turn off the light cycles. Yeah. So that's kind of those little innovations. Just because people seeing it, it's like, no, we can have that, and so it gets fixed, and then we move on and keep it moving. And the people who aren't in the tournaments don't know this, but it gets better.
Yeah, it also comes from streams as well, I guess, because in the 90s, people weren't streaming pinball, but I remember Carl D'Angelo was doing a run through of the entire Wizard of Oz code.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
And it was the one where his camera froze up when he got to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But so when he got into Melt the Witch, he found an exploit. Well, it's not really an exploit, but what you have to do in Melt the Witch is you have to hit 4 shots, and there's 4 shots that are lit up on the playfield, and the code allows you to hit the same shot over and over again if you want. So just the same 4 shots. So what he was doing, he was cradling both balls on to 2-ball multi-ball on the left flipper, and it would line the shot up perfectly where he just kind of backflips, it hits that shot, spits the ball out onto the left flipper, and he just do that 3 or 4 times in a row. Right. And Keith Johnson happened to watch that stream. So the next code update, if you do that exploit, if you don't hit any other switches besides the spinner and the EOS switch on the left flipper, it will do no hold flippers after the second time you do it. So that exploit was closed because someone, like one person in the world out there, found an easier way to kind of beat a wizard mode, which was.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant, and it also proves to you not only the dedication of the programmers in our hobby. I mean, I was just comparing. Would you ever see a company like Electronic Arts see somebody streaming and fix something based on it? I wonder if that happens in the video gaming hobby.
They make it DLC.
Yeah, they make a DLC that you pay for, right? Yeah, or a loot box or something that they'd be in the loot box. The fix would be in that. But I mean, just to see that we're in a hobby that where the people who make the games and who care about that they play well will see it happen, and then we'll fix it, and then we'll come up with a new update. And hey, here's the next update that fixes that, and it makes the game more fun. And it will close. It closes a weakness or a flaw in the game, and then it just makes it better.
Yeah. Talking about streams, I mean, I was watching you on that stream playing Pirates, and one thing that really kind of boggles my mind, because I don't have the skills to do this, you stepped up to that game and you're watching, you're learning the rules. On one of the first balls, you hit that repeatable inner loop shot, that really satisfying Fountain of Youth shot, like seven or 8 times in a row. And that was like the first time you were playing the game. So does that just come with playing a lot of pinball, or is there something that you're doing in your head? Like I've heard you say you take snapshots of the play fields in your head so you kind of know where it is when the ball comes there. Is that... Can you step people through what you're doing, or is it just you just do it?
Well, as part of it is just me doing it and learning from missing, because what you're not mentioning are the prior misses. So, I'm learning based on the misses, and then after that, trying to line up, where I think the ball is will be on the flipper bat, so I can hit it in the same spot and just keep looping it until it doesn't work. And so once I can memorize that, then I sort of have it down, so I know where I know where to hit it. I mean, some games I do it that way. Some games I do it based on feel or based on timing. Like the one of the ones I like doing on timing is the boat on Fishtails, where you shoot the back and forth shots in the boat, and so when the ball lands, like when the ball goes to the habitat and lands on the in lane, I'll tap the flipper and then tap the flipper again to flip, and so that time is usually just about the same. So I'll know, almost to where I wouldn't have to look at it. I'll just tap and flip. Like Doctor Who. You do that on Doctor Who. Right? You shoot the right orbit ramp, and then when it lands, I'll tap the flipper and hit it again. So it becomes a beat. It becomes 1/1000 hit, 1/1000 million, 1/1000 million, 3/1000 million. And so it becomes
Sonic Boom.
Yeah, Sonic Boom. Right. So it becomes almost to a point where you don't have to look at it, especially if you have a game that's tuned right. I mean, if you have a Doctor Who where the ball lands 3 different times, the 3 different ways, 3 different times, then you're probably at a tournament. So it's probably been set that way to mess with people, so it doesn't play forever. But a lot of the times I'm just just remembering where I aimed. Okay, this is too short. This was too long. Go to adjust and find it, and this hopefully I can just remember where I'm shooting it. But I mean, those loops on Pirates, that was just me, and I just was in a little mini zone where I found it. I mean, I did the same thing when the game was out on the floor, and I shot it like I don't know how many times in a row, like 12 or 13 times, and Eric was there. He saw me shoot it, and he was like, please hit the targets, and you got to hit the targets in order to get the gold to show up. And so I hit the targets, and like these huge 50 gold chests showed up. So sometimes on the stream it said 1 gold, 5 gold, like that. There's gold chests. Yeah, it's 50s. Like a whole bunch of 50s showed up, and I cashed them all in, and then I started Tortuga immediately. So yeah, it's this is a very fun part of the game there. Looking to see how they're going to put all the rest of those features in it with 22 characters and all those modes, which feel a little similar based on shots. But I mean, it's a
big task. It's a big task. Yeah. I mean, another game that we want to kind of transition to is Batman 66, which was released a year ago. Over a year ago, and this week we got 0.083, I believe it is.
Yep, 0.83. Yep,
0.83. Yep. So you haven't played that. We talked about it a little bit before. You haven't played that code update yet, but you have been playing a decent amount of Batman. Is that right?
A little bit, yeah, definitely a little bit. I mean, I've had a few games of 0.81, not very many, but I have to get down there at some point. Now that there are actually 2 villains in there, 2 minor villains are in there now, and those villains affect things in the main game, so you can really see that Lyman's plan's coming together. The master is really Lyman's the master. We're seeing what the master's going to do for us this time. So it's like a challenge. You have to figure out. See, the master gives you a puzzle and you figure it out, and then the master says, "No, you didn't figure it out yet. Let me give you this," and so he gives you that challenge. So yeah,
everyone's strategy has to change, right? I mean, you can't use the same strategy off the base firmware and
right.
software.
Yeah, you have to figure out what is the challenge that he wants you to really do. Like you try to get in his head and see how it works, and see if you can figure out what he wants you to do. How does he want you to tell the story of the game? So that's I can't wait to get back there and play some more update. I mean, we're not at 1.0 yet, so we've still got to put the rest of the villains in. And just think what's happening so far. If each minor villain is gonna have maybe a special power that affects the main game, like one of the villains, Mr. Freeze, freezes timers. So if you can freeze a timer on a double scoring, come on, right? I mean, you can see that potential. And if maybe another villain will increase combos, and another villain might give you more gadgets, or just thinking what might happen based on what we've seen so far, based on how deep Lyman codes. I mean, that's why he's the man. I mean,
so why do you think he is the man? Like, there's a lot of designers, and yes, there are others that are tournament players as well. But why is it? Why do you think Lyman just gets that magic?
I think Lyman does great layering. I think let's look at, say, Monster Bash. You say, Monster Bash has Frankenstein there. So a new player steps up and sees big old Frankenstein there. So let's hit that. And eventually something good is going to happen. So then the new player will get past that and start looking at the other shots in the game. And so you'll go from layer 1 to layer 2, which is, okay, what do these other shots do? And then they'll start modes. And then the player might then that gets guided into, it's like a guided tour. So you get into, if I get this mode first and then hit Frankenstein, I'll have both of them at once. So then the next logical step is, can I get them all and start? And so you can, it's essentially him teaching the player without being there, sort of how to play the game. And so it's if he does good layering in that way. A lot of his games do that. A lot of his games will guide you, and especially Metallica is brilliant. Metallica is brilliant for that. You have Sparky sitting there, right? So you smash Sparky, and eventually something good happens. But then what happens is, once you get Sparky Multiball happens, okay, you play around and have fun. But what happened with Sparky Multiball is, when you come out, all of a sudden a lot of those inserts start lighting on the play field. And if you have no idea what they are yet, you're a new player, you have no idea what they are, but a lot of them lit because you played multi-ball and started shooting things around, and this lit a cross insert, this lit a electric chair, this lit some snakes. And so you start looking at, okay, what do all of these inserts mean? And so it's more of another guided tour of how to get to the deeper parts. So there's some for the casual player, some for the pro players, some for the home buyer. It has all of those layers in that one game, really. And so he really does well with that too. I mean, and another favorite again, Keith Johnson, he does the same sort of thing. I mean, his deep rule sets, he has some for casual player and some for the pro player and some for the home buyer, and then he'll have this impossible thing at the end for the really sick person, like super mega extreme multi-ball.
Have you been to any Keith Johnson super wizard modes, like Valinor or nothing?
No Valinor, no super mega extreme, no I got close to the super mega extreme mode. I got close to that, but I couldn't win the reverse flipper mode, because you have to beat it. You can't just get to it. You have to get all of the supers, and I couldn't get that. So so
have you played the final Hobbit wizard mode? Stop it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What? Pardon? It's getting there. We'll get to that.
We'll get
there. Have faith. Yeah, it'll be good. Okay,
so we're talking about Lime and Sheets again, because Batman 66, it's almost like there's like a hype building around it now, which is funny, because the machine is a year old, but it's almost like the machine is getting released now again, because people are talking about it more. People are talking about it more than Guardians of the Galaxy, and people are talking about, that they're getting excited about the hope of, hey, it's getting really good now, and it still isn't finished. I have a couple of friends that have bought them recently, a couple of people that want to buy them. One thing that I think the Lyman does well is the whole the greed factor. So in AC/DC, the entire game, you're building up a song jackpot, and you kind of get to choose when to cash it in if you have the cannon lit. Metallica has the crank it up. Batmount now has this kind of risk reward where when you finish a major villain, it asks you if you want to cash in and move on to the next villain, or if you want to keep on going. Are you attracted to that greed factor? Like, do you play well with those games that ask you if you want to keep on going or cash something in?
Well, yeah, I think those are the most fun. I always want to go for it. There's definitely, if you have especially like AC/DC is really fun, where you can get that. I guess is it really a greed factor if you can do it during multi-ball? Because I mean, that's when you know you're playing well. Like for an AC/DC, if you build up a huge song jackpot, you get in multi-ball, then at some point during the multi-ball, you've completed the in lanes a few times enough where you can shoot the cannon while you're playing multi-ball. So that's sort of like the signal where you're doing awesomely.
I'm not good enough to light all. I totally ignore the lanes during multi-ball, because
you gotta get them. You gotta get them so you can have multiple balls in play. Know you're gonna shoot the cannon for whatever it is, 40 million, and know that no matter what happens, you're not gonna drain. Like that ball might drain for maybe. Right. But you still have this other one. So yeah, that's where the high scores are coming, because people are getting these guaranteed I'm not gonna die cannon shots in multi-ball with double playfield. So all of a sudden you see somebody cash 130 million cannon shot and they're still alive and still going. But yeah,
my strategy is to always do it after, because I feel like I can be more calm and it might be lit after. So I'll change that around and report back and see how I go. But
try it. Yeah, as long as you can get one in control. I mean, as long as you get control of one, and you know what's going to happen, because the game sort of warns you, because it gives you a minute. Then when you shoot the shot that the cannon is lit, well, first of all, if the light's working on it, you can see that it's flashing, getting ready to receive the ball. Especially if it's on the premium, where it has the line where it has the extra habit trail that goes across the game. So it gives you time that you see the ball's going across the game. Okay, I better get ready and see if I can control the ball, because here comes a big money shot. And then as long as you're calm enough to wait for the cannon to come down slow enough to hit it, which is another thing that kind of messes with you, because you're in multi-ball, so you're going fast and going crazy, and then cannon moves just slow enough to really make you shoot it a little bit early, so you don't want to be early with it. So try it. See if you can really, when you're in jam, and just shoot a whole lot of ramps, and see if you can pay attention to those in lanes and light up enough to get that cannon ready and really explode your scores.
So what I'm really getting from you, and this is what I've loved hearing about when I hear you doing commentary. I know it's not necessarily good for you when you've come out of a tournament, so therefore you're on the commentary mic, but
stay out the booth.
Stay
out the booth.
Your loss is our gain. But one thing I like, and again, just hearing you now, it's understanding how everything comes together. You understand rules. You understand what makes good rules. You understand what makes good flow, what makes good layout and geometry and sound and all that kind of stuff. So would you want to become a pinball designer yourself?
I would love to.
There is some jobs opening.
I would like to. I would like to see whether, anything that I would design would be feasible. I mean, because I'd have to control myself, I guess I'd mentioned on another podcast, I want to design Pressure Luck or something like that, or the Whammy game or something, but there are things that I can't quite work out with how to get it to work. But yeah, sure, I would like to be a pinball designer, at least with rule sets. I mean, I definitely have to practice writing them now.
Well, there's a job opening at the moment at Deep Root, so if you
yes, okay, I see. I see there is. Oh my goodness, man. Do we have some additional news to report on that front? Do we want
I think that's it. They're looking for a programmer and a CAD designer. So do you have a programming background, Steve? Because I know a lot of people that are really good at pinball rules have a programming background.
Not heavily. I mean, I used to teach in high school, but I taught high school level programming, which would be like your Visual Basics, your at the time C++, Java, the languages that were in at that time. It's, how fast languages move on. Every couple of years there's a new one to learn. But I'm more in IT. I'm an IT person, so I can understand programming, but I really would the dedication that it takes to program, I don't think I would be able to do.
So you can write the pseudocode for an entire pinball machine, but you need someone else to implement it.
Actually do it, because I know how a constructor functions and how arrays work and if then case else statement is, but I bet it really gets frustrating. I bet it really gets frustrating when a programmer is looking for where the bug is and it's a semicolon in the 40th line of the 30th page of code that they missed. You can see that's really going to be frustrating. And then when people complain, why isn't the code out? Well, we're trying to figure, you're trying to change one thing and it really messes with 3 other statements in the beginning. So you have to get rid of those bugs, and that's why they kind of happen. So it's not magic, it's work. So, I definitely understand why, it takes long to do those sorts of things. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's looking for a job, you can contact Deep Pinball.
But nah.
So moving on. So we also have had Rob Zombie has had a new update, apparently a big update as well.
I heard about that, but I had no experience with that update at all. So I just heard about it, and I have none close to me at all.
Have you had much experience playing the spooky pinballs?
Yeah, I've played. I mean, I've played them, but the nearest Rob Zombie is 2 hours away at Rock Fantasy. Shout out to Rock Fantasy in Middletown, New York, but that's 2 hours away from me, and so. That I haven't had a lot. So the only experience I've had with that is when it was, there wasn't a lot of stuff in it. There was the repeating center ramp stage of the
yes. Yeah.
There was that. There was the let's play Super Beast and do it that way. There was the we keep shooting the mode shot on the left and it sometimes doesn't land in the saucer part of the program.
Yeah, that's the one.
Or whatever is up there. Is there a saucer? I mean, I looked up there trying to see what's back there. So whatever is there wasn't starting the modes, and so.
Well, I think there's a vertical up kicker there as well.
Okay, yeah. So whatever was there, it wasn't working. So we were just shooting the center ramp a lot and getting that add a ball, nice, doing that a lot, because that was fun. And then I was like, okay, can I add a ball nice while starting a mode? No, I can't. Oh crap. Okay, forget that plan. I can't do the add a ball stuff with the modes. Come on. But so whatever this new update is, I hope it fleshes that out. But yeah, America's Most Haunted was cool. I mean, I definitely like that. That's nice and fun. That's nice and fun and sarcastic, and the call outs and like those are fun. Dominoes is a diet game. Jetsons is a diet game. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like
pinball.
It's light. It's like a light game, so really, I mean, that's the best thing I can think of calling it. It's like, it's a game, but when I step up to it, it doesn't feel like a whole game. So, but I understand why it's made, and that's okay.
Do you think the Williams games, like you call them a diet game, but if they were released in the early 90s, would they be a diet game, or is it just that's a product of the time they were
it compared? I mean, well, if you compare the Jetsons to America's Most Haunted, right? I mean, really, and then compare the Jetsons. Compare Dominoes to Total Nuclear Annihilation, right? Okay, all right. So that's what I mean. I mean, it just seems like it's it's not a whole game. It's a whole game, but it's not really.
It's pretty sparse.
Let's see, what can I really compare it to? Like, say, Iron Man is pretty sparse. Let's compare it with that. But Iron Man is awesome. It's a complete idea. It's an entire complete idea. Nothing's too repetitive. There's lots of things to do. I played the Jetsons, and I'm just spelling everything. I'm spelling characters. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is simple. Cool. Yeah.
But do you think, what I'm saying is that people love a lot of old games, right? Mm-hmm. But
so
do people love old games that are simple, kind of like the Jetsons, because they cost $1,000 and they're given a pass because they were produced in a time where things were simpler? Like, what is the difference? Like, why can you say Jetsons is a light game, but these old games are awesome? Is it the price? Are people judging it on the price, or is it the time they came out?
I don't know. It just feels. When I step up to the Jetsons, it feels like I have half a game. I can't explain the feeling of it. Maybe it's because me comparing it to a game like, let's see, like I like simple games like Grand Prix. Grand Prix is simple, shoot the spinner and do whatever, and so that feels like it. Yeah, it feels like a simple game. I don't know where I can explain the difference between Grand Prix and the Jetsons. I know it just feels like. I mean, comparing the price, I'm not going to buy the Jetsons, so that's not it. So I'm not going to buy it. So
say the Jetsons came out when the Jetsons TV show was going on, and it was extremely similar. Replace the DMD with the scoring display. Would you then think of it differently if it was a $1,000 game? And would you say, wow, when it came out, like, this is an amazing game? Or
maybe. I mean, I can't put myself in that shoes in back then, but maybe. I mean, if the game were $1,000, that'd be crazy. They couldn't do it, but I don't know. I mean, except for I can't explain why I like Grand Prix more than I like WrestleMania. I mean, because they both in my mind are kind of similar. They both. Or why do I like WrestleMania just a little bit more than Joker's? They feel the same. Right, they have they have the path on the left and the path on the right to go up to an upper play field and do things up there, but I like Grand Prix and WrestleMania just a tad more than Joker's. I don't know. I mean, it's just it would take deep analysis it would take deep introspection for me to figure out why. But I just know I have more fun.
Your next fun with bonus blog.
Yeah, I have more fun playing Grand Prix than I do playing the Jetsons.
Okay. How about TNA? Produced by Spooky Pinball as well, but obviously, you know, the way that came about was a lot different than the Jetsons on a contract game. Have you put much time into Total Nuclear Annihilation?
As much as I could, as much as I can see it at any show. Yeah, that is, and there's always a line for it, which is just a testament to how fun it is, even though it's looked at as a simpler game, because it is a simpler game, but it's a simple game that wants you dead. So it's that game actively wants to kill you, and so you just have to battle against it, get that multi-ball and get those reactors down, and you look at it like that and it looks like it's repetitive, but not really. I mean, you can, as long as the flippers are set the way they are, so you can't really control it. And I love that the bumper on that one bumper on the right, that is death bumper. I love that bumper. That's not, especially when you have to hit it, like that's one of the targets in order to destroy the reactor, and you have to hit the bumper on purpose. You have to aim for it and get it and not die from it. That's brilliant. I mean, I definitely like that.
Well, then that's highlighting something that's really interesting. And again, we were talking about, you know, Lyman and other designers. Is if you look at Total Nuclear Annihilation, it is a simple game. Next to Jetsons was a simple game. Mm-hmm. One of them's just got that X factor. Maybe the other one doesn't, and it could be its sound, because the sound on Total Nuclear Annihilation I think is fantastic, but it's the light show. It is the way the story progresses.
Right.
There's that kind of little bit of art form that these designers have.
Yeah, that sound. Yeah, it does make a huge difference to me because of the way I love how music is worked into the game, especially with Total Nuclear Annihilation. How there's a different track for, like, there's a different Reactor 1 track for regular play versus multi-ball, and then it switches back. It's more intense if you're in multi-ball on Reactor 1 than if you're in regular play on Reactor 1, and there's a different beat for it, and so you kind of know where you are. Based on, if you can learn what the tracks are, you can kind of know where you are in the game. And, you know, just the opening plunge is awesome. You have the plunge, and then as soon as you plunge it, it kicks right in and you're ready to go. So that game, yeah, the way the music was done in that was fantastic. And just you know, having to do a real skill shot that you have skill shots where you plunge and it stops and it goes into the upper area. You have to really do a real skill shot to get it to land in the right area, and you're rewarded with, all right, the reactor starts, here we go. So it seems simple until you really get into it and you really figure out, oh, it's not quite as simple as it looks, and all the while you're trying to figure out, it's actively trying to kill you. Don't forget, it doesn't like you at all. It wants to challenge you.
Well, you're trying to blow up the entire world, so it makes sense, right? That it's trying to stop you from doing that. Now,
exactly.
Do you think this street level game, and, you know, like, no big manufacturer would ever kind of dream of you know, that the market would kind of want this, but people do want this. People are kind of craving for it.
Where's Cheetah again? I want Sea-Witch too. You know, electric.
Saying, well, do you think now that this has, you know, succeeded, do you think there is now a market for, you know, the old style brutal single level games to come out in a new form factor?
Well, I can only say that I would want it. I mean, I can only say that my wallet would have a conversation with me if Sea-Witch 2 if Cheetah 2, the next Cheetah came out, you know, and it was like a hyper-powered version of Cheetah, I would have a conversation with my bank account, and, you know, there would be, negotiations on whether I would buy it. Really, I mean, so I don't know if there's a market for it. I just know that, as far as speaking for only myself, I would be very interested in having, you know, those games sort of re-release. You know, like, where's Fathom? Where's where's Super Barracuda? Things like that. You know, any of the old Sterns, any of them really, except for maybe Black Pyramid. I mean, any of them.
Where's the new roller games?
Right, yeah. Where's Roller Games 3000?
So speaking of that, so apparently, well, I've had a bit of flack from a couple of other podcasts because I didn't know when I bought my roller games that it had been based on a TV show. I didn't know that this... Did you know it? Like, was this a big thing in America, like the roller games, the TV show?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. I remember roller games from the TV show. Go for the wall, and you had these 6 teams who were supposedly competing against each other in real wink wink nudge nudge competition.
Yeah, really. It was,
right?
Sweet Stephanie. She wasn't very sweet at all, was she?
No. My favourite was the manager of, I think they were the Violators, and her name, they called her the Briefcase Barracuda. Oh, if that's not the 80s right there, I don't know what is.
So 80s.
And she walked out with the big, like, puffed out padded shoulders and a briefcase, and it was... I mean, as I said, I only saw it after I got my machine, but I just wanted to say, in my defence, that TV show never played in Australia at all. But I was just keen to know whether it was big over there. Well, obviously it wasn't too big if they cancelled it.
It wasn't.
About 6 episodes.
Right, but it was canceled because of the bankruptcy, not necessarily because of the popularity. Right. So I don't know whether, so I don't know whether it would have just kept going, being the WWF of roller sports, for as long as they could keep the storylines going. It's just instead of the wrestling ring, you're skating around in this, very unique role. I mean, and with me, I didn't really know what roller derby was, so to me that was roller derby. I didn't know that there was not a ramp in real roller derby. Right. So when I'm watching real competition, I'm like, where's the ramp at?
Boring.
I want the ramp stuff. And then I started understanding how, this is cool. I was like, it's the rule about passing is, so that was a real thing. The passing is a real thing. And, the person with the different helmet scoring the points, that's a real thing. So I was like, that's cool. But I wanted the wall where you jump off the wall and then you land, and then there's chaos down there, and they land on 4 different people, and somebody scored points.
You wanted the alligators, right?
There's where's the pit at? Come on, put something in there. Put people in there and have them fight like the lumberjacks in wrestling or something. You go in there, you gotta get out of there before you get beat up or something.
So I watched some roller games on the weekend because Marty's been talking about it. Other podcasts have been talking about it. The machines are coming up for sale in Australia, and I finally did. And as I said, it doesn't really exist in Australia, so I checked it out on YouTube, and I thought I watched the entire series because there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos entitled like episode 1 through to 12. They're only 10 minutes long, so I watched that entire kind of series. But then there's some other ones. I don't think the complete collection exists online.
There's enough content for you to have your full.
Well, I get it.
Feel like
after watching that series, I got it. I can't remember what the people in the black uniforms are. I've forgotten the names of them. The Violators beat out the T-Birds, unfortunately, with the Twins. So the pinball makes more sense now, and go for the wall. But I wasn't aware that it was like WWE, where it's this like wrestling thing where they're like talking smack to each other. That's the best part of it, because I can't watch wrestling because there's too much talking in wrestling. It's like the 20-minute conversation or 30-minute, and then someone pops out of nowhere and hits someone on the back of their head with a chair, a fold-up chair. Whereas in roller games you get that 2 or 3 minute banter, and then it's straight to the bashing each other up on the roller on the figure of 8. So I'm a bit of a fan. I could have got into this if this.
It's great. I wish it would come back out. Just get rid of some way to do it without the kayfabe. I don't know. I mean, if you could,
So kayfabe.
Kayfabe. Like in wrestling, like the kayfabe is where the presenting of the storyline is real. So like wrestling. Yeah. So some way to do it without, I don't know if you could do it as a real thing as opposed to having the kayfabe in it, but just find some way to do it. It will be fun.
It's the thing though. The only thing really keeping people talking about roller games now is the pinball machine, because people are still playing it. But I kind of looked out there to see if there's any like fan websites or Facebook groups. Like, it is non-existent. Like, people have forgotten about roller games, right? I mean, the roller derbies still exist, but they don't kind of like talk about roller games being this kind of like mecca they want to get back to or something. So maybe we've got to start it. Maybe we've got to start a roller game.
We got to bring it back. We got to bring it back.
Well, you guys, it's Steve Ritchie's unlicensed theme that he's going to be releasing. It's Roller Games 2000. I'm sure of it.
Is it okay? Roller derby. Is that the rumor? That's
no, it's actually wishful thinking if we're really honest.
I know. Yeah.
Guys, do you know what time it is?
I think I do.
Uh-oh.
A new age legend cracks Ryan's awesome puzzle.
Oh, no. Like, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's everyone's favorite new show,
Anal crack.
Anal crack.
with your host, Ryan C.
All right, guys.
The best.
All right. So, Marty, are you keeping "Go for the Wall" as your call
okay,
out?
that's my thing.
Steve, you get to choose your call out. Always be cashing.
Well, I would maybe always be cashing, or maybe I could choose no whammies. But that's not a pinball call out. Neither is always be cashing.
Anything you want, whatever you want.
I'll do no whammies for fresh your luck. Yeah,
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I've got 30 questions here. So brace yourself. I'm going to be keeping a. Oh my gosh, I should open up an Excel spreadsheet so I can keep a tally.
serious business.
Careful, please.
Yeah,
Gone insane.
I haven't. Oh god. So, these are all pinball related questions.
Okay.
I go ready. Okay.
This is a multiple choice, so wait for the answers.
Sure.
How many gears are there on the Game of Thrones playfield? Right.
No whammies. I'll try it.
Yeah. Okay. Is it closer to A 31, B 61, or C 91? It's a multiple choice, guys. It's a free answer. Come on, go for it.
Not because whoever guesses first is going to be wrong.
Go for the wall. I'm going to say 91. C.
Wrong.
No whammies. Whammies 61.
Yes,
No!
you get the point.
See? That's the Monty Hall rule. You have to wait for the first person because that's wrong. That's probably wrong, and then I have a better chance. That's actually not the rule, but it's...
Question number 2. Name 3 pinball machines with a toilet.
Go for the wall.
No whammies.
Yep, Steve.
Austin Powers. Junkyard. Oh, what's the third one with the toilet in it?
Oh, come on, Steve.
Austin Powers and Junkyard.
You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3,
Austin
2,
Powers.
1.
I don't have the third one.
Marty, chance to steal.
I thought I
You
had
don't know?
but I don't know.
What is the
Okay.
third one?
South Park.
Oh,
right.
of course.
Boo. Yeah, that's true. Really up.
Okay. All right. What Stern game has 3 spinners all with the same picture on it?
No whammies.
Yes,
Iron Man?
that's right. Marty, you really have no chance against Steve with
No,
all
I
these
know.
games.
I'm just here for support. Keep going.
Okay. If you multiply the name of this game by 4 and add 4, you will have 100.
Oh, no whammies, 24. That's just
That's
mad.
right.
That's not even a pinball question. That's like...
This is a terrible quiz.
Well, there's only 27 questions to go, guys.
Make it quick. Let's go. Fast round.
All right, lightning round.
On which machine do you light someone's foot on fire?
No whammies.
Yes.
It's Whitewater, Bigfoot.
Yes. Damn. Okay. Which pin are you advised not to touch the door?
No whammies, Twilight Zone. Quick, come on. You got to come on now.
My buzzer wasn't working.
But yeah, it was like
This
Jeopardy.
one-
He
this
got
one's
locked out.
fun.
He's getting locked out.
This is worth 3 points if you can get it correctly. Now, I want you to sort from the lowest possible multiplier to the highest possible shot multiplier. Okay, so which game has the biggest possible shot multiplier?
The lowest to highest?
So wait, so sort it from the lowest to the highest. Okay, I'm going to mention 3 pinball machines.
Okay.
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, by JJP.
All right, so no whammies. Lowest possible.
Lowest possible.
Lord of the Rings, Pirates, and Star Wars.
Oh, it's actually the opposite. Star Wars has a 40 times.
Go for the wall. Hold on a second. Now I can do my answer. So my answer is the opposite.
Yes. which is?
I can't remember what he answered, but it's the opposite.
But the lowest was Star Wars.
Star
I mean,
Wars.
the lowest was Lord of the Rings. The
No.
middle one was Pirates, and
So
the
the
biggest
highest
one
is Lord of the Rings, then Pirates, then Star Wars.
No. Okay, so Star Wars has a 40 times shot multiplier possible. The Lord of the Rings has an 84 times shot multiplier possible, right? So that's only possible for one shot. And the way you do that is when you're in Two Towers multi-ball.
double, triple, jackpot 7.
Yeah, you get the three, the triple, seven,
double,
jackpot.
triple, jackpot 7.
Yeah, you've got double the play field from A Gift from the Elves, and you've got double the play field from Gollum multi-ball. So that one, you can make one shot worth 84 times. And Pirates of the Caribbean, you have a 108 times shot multiplier. If you have every single chapter lit when you start a mode, you've got 3 times multiplier, and you can activate a 6x shot and a 6x play field using Super X. So that was a trick question. Marty, I'm going to give you 3 points just to make it interesting so you can catch up.
That's one of those $1 million questions right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, on which replay sequence on a Williams Bally pinball machine is someone smashing a guitar?
Oh, no
Over
whammies.
the wall.
Yes.
It's Monster Bash.
Yeah.
Monster Bash.
Yeah,
Showing it.
All right.
Dracula.
Score update. Steve is on 6 points. Marty, you're on 3, and there were
And
3
there was
points.
points. Yeah.
Marty, you got to get this one. All right. On which video mode do you punch Dwight Sullivan in the face?
No whammies.
Yes. Steve.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Come on, Marty. Come on. All right.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything this time.
Which Steve Ritchie game shipped more units? High Speed, Black Knight, or Flash?
Ooh, I think this is going to be a trick question, so I'm going to go for the wall and say Flash.
Yes, Flash. 20,000 units or so. Okay. Buzz in when you hear a band that does not have a pinball produced about them. You ready?
Okay.
Kiss, Aerosmith, Rob Zombie, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, Backstreet Boys, AC/DC,
Go.
Alice
Go
Cooper.
for the wall.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, Marty.
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys. Oh, gosh. Okay. What is Luna Park spelled backwards?
Anal crap.
Oh,
for the wall.
Marty with another point.
Wait.
Oh, yes, you can go for the wall.
Like, no whammies ain't no crap. It's like, you didn't finish the form of a question. What? No.
Steve's on 7, Marty's on 6. All right. How many people, how many positions did they have available for Pinburg 2017?
Go for
No
the wall.
whammies.
Yes?
800?
800. Okay, now the follow-up question, this is a 2-part question. According to Canada, how many people are interested in talking about competitive pinball?
Oh, no.
Go for the wall. 0.
0. I want to get that to Marty.
Very good. One wants to talk about competitive pinball.
Nobody. Okay. What does LED actually stand for?
Go for the wall.
No whammies.
Go for the wall. Yes, Marty.
Light emitting diode.
Ooh, it's 8-all. Bit of a catch-up there. All right. Okay. Medieval Madness troll pop-ups times 2 equals...
No whammies 4.
Or what game?
Go for the wall.
Oh, okay, I see the question.
Bob it.
Marty? Yes, Marty's hit the
Oh,
lead.
yeah, you're going
gone
down,
for the wall.
Baron.
He said,
Okay.
he said equals how many? How many is a number? How many is a number?
Yeah.
Okay. On which game does the main character fall asleep on the playfield?
Go for the wall.
Marty?
Funhouse.
Yes. Ooh, he's got a 2-point lead. Okay. In 1996, Bally's Safecracker, how many entrances are there into the vault?
No
Go for the
whammies.
wall.
Steve?
3 entrances.
3?
And do you have the roof? Well, there's 3 on the game board. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said 3. I didn't hear you. I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Oh, that is
The game board. Yeah.
shenanigans.
Okay. This might be a trick question. What is the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi? Okay, no one. Okay,
no,
Dubai.
He's an extra A. It's like maybe
Dubai doesn't like the Flintstones pinball, but Abu Dhabi do.
Oh.
All right, new host Martin. All right.
All right. On which pinball machine do you shoot the pyramids?
Oh no, whammies! Oh man, Stargate.
Yeah. Okay, it's 10-all. Okay. All right. This is the final segment, the final round. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I got 6 questions.
Okay.
I hope it's not a draw. And these are just call outs, but I'm gonna call them out in a different way than they call out on the pinball machine. So it might throw you up a little bit. Okay. I am a doctor, not a pinball wizard.
Go for the
Oh,
wall.
whammy! Star Trek Stern.
Oh, Steve. Didn't even wait for me to say his name. Just went straight for it.
Because I knew I was first.
Yeah.
I heard him say it after.
Okay. You can't beat me. I'm medicated.
Go for the wall.
Yes?
I'm medicated.
Come on, Marty.
Champion Pub.
No.
Whammies.
Yes, Steve.
Medieval Madness.
Yes. Okay,
yeah.
Steve. 2-point lead. It's Steve 12, Marty 10. It's 4 more to go. Oh, I'm having multiple jackpots.
Whammies.
Steve?
Elvira and a scared stiff.
Yep.
Man.
Okay, Marty, you need 3 in a row. Okay. Worst ball ever.
No whammies.
Steve?
Simpsons Pinball Party.
Yes. Okay.
Well, that's
Bowl ever.
Okay. We are watching you.
Whammies.
Yes.
Congo the movie.
Okay. Steve takes a 5-point lead. So, okay. This last question is worth 6 points. So anyone can win. Anyone can win. Anyone can win.
Anyone can win, YouTubers. Anyone can win. Yeah, okay.
I have a feeling Steve's going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Coward, chicken, sissy.
Oh, whammies.
Yes.
The Shadow.
Yes.
Oh,
Steve with
a
6.
game I've hardly
You
played.
you put 2 Tim Curry call outs in a row. I mean, Tim Curry, man, come on.
Final score: Steve wins the inaugural anal crab competition.
You know, Steve, he likes his anal crab.
That's right.
21-10 is the final score. Well done, Steve.
Absolutely well deserved. Round of applause.
So Steve, when are you coming to Australia? You go traveling all around the world, all around the US and Canada for competitions. When are you coming down to Australia?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do need to do that. So I just need to, if I can save up enough vacation days, that's what.
You can't drive there. You can't drive to Australia.
Yeah, can't drive there. Yeah, it's impossible to drive there. But yeah, I got to figure something out. Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever been to? Like, have you ever flown for into Europe or anything for pinball comps? Or
Just London. Just London for IFPA back in the day. So that was really the furthest I had done. I was thinking about Germany when I was over there, but couldn't get the time time off to do that. So
it's expensive, man, isn't it? Like it's hard work being yeah.
It's rough. That's why we know you're trying to break even. That's like, if you break even, you won. That's why you won.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Say if you won a free pinball machine from winning some tournament, right? Mm. And the option is any new pinball machine that's kind of being made right now, or let's say being manufactured soon, and space wasn't an issue, right? You had unlimited space, and you had like $10,000 to spend on any pinball machine. What would you be buying at the moment?
Well, the first one in my head is Dialed In. I mean, let's because that's what I'm. So that's my first answer. So let me take a moment to step back and look at the others. Okay, Dialed In versus Star Wars. Dialed In wins. Let's
Pirates?
see. Dialed In versus Pirates. See, now we're getting a little close. I mean, Dialed In is the complete game. It's finished. Pirates is. I mean, you're talking about right now. But Pirates isn't completely coded yet, so Dialed In wins. Yeah, I think
Batman 66.
Batman 66. Batman 66 is getting better quickly. Yeah, but it's 10,000, so I'm not getting the $15,000 break the bank showcase showdown version.
No, you didn't put your video in.
You get in the average version.
Hey, I didn't get my video in, so dialed in wins again. Yep. So, yeah. I mean, if it was something else, I mean, there are other games that aren't current that are, that might stand out. Like, if it was like Dialed In versus Metallica, we have a conversation, So,
you said your favorite game is Spider-Man. So
yep.
why isn't that one of the games that you own in your house if you enjoy it? Do you not want to spoil it and for it to stay your favorite game by not playing it day and night and getting sick of it?
No, that's not it. I guess it just gets to a point where I'm not in the market to buy games anymore. I mean, I don't really buy a lot of games. So, which is why I really don't pay attention to, the latest happenings of buying, game. Like I'm not in on an Alien. I wouldn't have been in on, the latest, whatever it, like Houdini, I'm not going to be in on, but I'm interested in hoping those games come out so that I can play them somewhere, like maybe at a tournament or someone who can afford those games. But, really, that's kind of the reason. I mean, I'm not really in the market to buy a game.
Do you think that's a better way to, be involved in pinball? Like, do you think tournament players have it better than the collector market where they're always kind of getting stressed out and getting angry about this and that? Like, do you enjoy pinball more, you think, because you're not in the market to buy a new pinball machine?
Well, I mean, I enjoy that people can buy games. If they don't buy the games, then I can't play them. I mean, because they won't make them. So that you need both those multiple sides there.
That's why you were telling people during the pirate stream. You said, get your wallets out, out, right?
Yeah, get your wallets out, because mine's not going to be one of them because I can't afford it. So I need people to buy these games so that they keep making good games. Otherwise, I won't be able to play them. So, yeah, I mean, I can appreciate the person who is enthusiastic about the newest game and then really, and can afford it. I mean, goodness, with the prices, but that's really what it is. I mean, I wouldn't be able to afford a game of that amount. So that's why I just hope I can go to a place and play it at a show or play it at a tournament or play it over someone's place or something like that.
Speaking of shows or tournaments, so in 2018, are you going to either, or maybe all of them, Papa, Texas Pinball Festival or Pinburg in 2018?
All right, well, definitely Papa and Pinburg. Texas Pinball Festival is a maybe. I mean, it's enough to where I have registered for the tournament, because you had to register before on a certain day because it's a limited entry. It's a limited number of people. It's 160 people.
Right.
For the tournament. So I did get one of those spots. So I have that in case I can go. So that's a maybe. I mean, I'm definitely thinking about going to it because it seems like Texas is like the new hot spot to make reveals and announcements even more than Expo now. So that's what
the subtext to my question really is the chances of it being more likely that you'll see Ryan next year or me, because I'm tossing up between whether I go to Papa or Pinburg. So either one, if you're going, I'll see you there.
Yep.
Ryan's going to TPF.
Okay.
I didn't know you had to register for the tournament. So
yeah, it was. I almost missed it too because I saw the post like, oh, it's limited to 160, so get ready to. And it wasn't like it sold out in 4 minutes, but it wasn't slow either. So
can you enjoy the happenings of the whole expo and play in the tournament, or are you really missing out on a lot of the talks and stuff if you join in on the tournament?
Well, depending on how you work it. I mean, if it just depends. If you got to budget your time. It's time management. So that's one of the hidden skills of the tournament player. It's time management. You have to know when you're gonna play, when you're gonna eat, when you're gonna have fun, when you're gonna see the show, when you're gonna, play the games, when you're gonna look at the reveals, talk to all of people you haven't seen in a year, and then still make sure you qualify in the tournament. So you just have to be careful that the tournament doesn't take over what you want to do. But that can be part of it. But I mean, if the show's good enough, it doesn't matter. I mean, I haven't been to Texas yet, but I keep hearing about how Texas is the huge place to go to, and now you see people, even vendors going to Texas and say, "I'm going to go to Texas this year. I'm not going to Expo." I don't know whatever that was that I saw, but. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Texas. I think I might actually go there. I mean, again, it's going to depend on a couple of factors that are not pinball related, which are job factors. Certain things have to not happen during that critical time of the year really. I mean, it's a similar reason for why I can only go to Papa starting on Friday night. It's that reason. So as long as that reason doesn't show itself, then, or anything related to that reason, then I'll be there. So yep, that's what it is.
Talking about time management, we this is probably the longest podcast interview that you've done because
hey, I'm fine. It's Friday night and I am not going out because it's Black Friday and it's a war zone. So I'm gonna stay safe in here shopping on Amazon.
No, we don't want to see you on some viral video where you've been trampled or you're trampling somebody to get to.
That's right.
$right.
That's right. I'll
gotta get that Zizzle pinball machine. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's right. I will be watching those videos tomorrow, just like everyone else. Of here's the lineup to Walmart / Target store where here's the door buses and people are climbing all over each other to get that TV and there's like 6 of them and like 80 people lined up and then people get angry. Oh man, shopping, commerce, free markets.
We'll leave you to the rest of your night and we will enjoy the rest of our day. Absolute pleasure having you come on for the podcast. We knew it was going to be fun. It was absolutely fun. Always great to meet you in person. And we're also really pleased for what you do for the pinball community. So if you want to do any shout outs or plug your site, go for it.
Okay, sure. Thanks. I am Fun with Bonus on most places that I have an account on. So funwithbonus.com is the website. Fun with Bonus on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, sort of, even though I haven't posted on there in a while. But yeah, that's if you go to funwithbonus.com, that's me, and have a look around the site and hopefully have some fun and yeah, I really like doing it. I really like contributing, to the community as long as I'm asked. And yeah, that's really fun to be on this show. This was great. I mean,
we can never get enough Steve Bowden.
2 hours. This was 2 hours, and it felt like 4 minutes. I mean, really.
This is what we go through every week. Every week we're like, it'll be an hour this week. It'll be an hour, but no, it's never an hour.
We like it. So, I mean, fantastic. You guys are doing a fantastic job with the show, and I definitely love listening to it, and and the fact that it comes out consistently. That I know it's going to come out. I try to make sure I get my stuff done, so I know I don't miss the show, and sometimes I can't help but miss the show, and I have to catch up, and so you can sort of tell which shows I haven't caught up on because it doesn't hit the main page of the site. So that's kind of what happens there. But yeah, you got to do it.
You'll have to come on again in the future to defend your title of the first anal crap winner, right?
That's right.
We'll have an anal crap all stars.
Yeah, that's right, me, Gene. I have the anal crap championship of the world. You can never beat me in the Royal Rumble of anal crap. Yeah. This is the greatest world championship ever. It was awesome. It was awesome.
All right.
Anytime you want to chat, whenever, I'm down. You guys are great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Right. Bye.
See you later.
So there you go. That was Mr. Fun with Bonus himself, Steve Bowden.
How awesome was that? Yeah, he's a really positive guy, and it's rubbed off on me, and now I'm pinball positive.
He was hilarious. We actually could have talked for hours. Like it felt almost like a shame that we had to finish it, but it was just shy of 2 hours. But he has said that he'll come back on at any time, and I reckon that will happen.
So do you think we should do another 2 hours just me and you now, or?
Yes, we could have beat our record for the longest podcast ever. No, I think we've just got a couple of items to go through.
Well, yeah. What else happened since the interview? Because that was 2 days ago. What's happened since then? We've got a little exclusive on an exclusive.
Well, we do, and it's just for everybody to, keep your eyes out for an interview that's going to be coming out on This Week in Pinball. So thisweekinpinball.com, our good friend Jeff, he's got an interview with the good friends at Deep Root Pinball.
It still sounds funny when you say
I know, deep breath. But look, we don't want to give too much away. We've only got, a bit of a snippet, but he is going to be, I believe, tackling some interesting topics. He'll talk about John Popaduke. He'll talk about, maybe what Zidware are going to do about the previous, customers and what's happening with them. There'll probably be a public announcement. And we'll probably, let's hope they talk about, what's going to happen with, Retro Atomic Zombie Adventureland, Alice in Wonderland, and maybe, what they're going to do with the making more Magic Girls.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're pretty confident that they're going to be a successful pinball manufacturer, but, I don't know. I almost feel like if you're not established now, it sounds really negative to say, but it's almost too late. Like in 3 years from now, when they're producing stuff, are people still going to be throwing money at pinballs, or has the roller coaster already reached its peak and on its way down?
Well, some people would say that it is. Some people would say that it's stalled. I mean, other people would say that it's still on the rise. Who knows? I think the good thing is that Jeff manages to get in touch with these guys, and they get to tell their story, and then we can decide what we think based on that interview. I think that's cool.
It's podcast content, right? We talk about it next week.
Yep. We will be reading this interview, and we will be commenting on it next week, no doubt.
Is it time for This Week in Pinball? Not sponsored by This Week in Pinball.
What did you get up to this week?
Besides from watching lots of roller games on YouTube, I've been playing Doctor Who and Whitewater nonstop. Absolutely just going between just those two machines, and it's almost like all I need. I still don't know why I have a big collection, because I always just play one or two games and that's it. But then I got a call or a message on the... Actually, it was a call. I got a call during the week, and I've been writing love letters about Dialed In for a while, as everyone knows. And my last love letter for the podcast, when I was talking about it, someone heard it, and they rang me up and they said, "Ryan, would you like my Dialed In for a little while?" And I said, "Fuck yeah."
You wouldn't have to give that much thought.
Well, I tried to play it cool. I'm like, you sure? But really, I felt like a little kid. So, yeah, that happened yesterday. So I managed to pick up my my Simpsons Pinball Party as well. So the Simpsons Pinball Party is back, and Dialed In is there. And I haven't played it too much because the Dialed In really, really needs to be dialed in. I've been running
the one that we've played.
Yes. So thank you to Andy. Very nice of you.
Well, on behalf of Ryan, thank you. I would have loved to have had it myself.
Has anyone offered you a Star Wars? Because you said that Star Wars is a better game, so surely someone's going to offer you a Star Wars now. That's how it works, right?
Well, it is, and yet I've not had anybody offer a Star Wars, so if anyone's listening...
Start pumping it up.
No, I just thought that Dialed In, if I actually had more time with it, I might grow to like it. I don't know, but
it would have driven you crazy. I mean, like, it's weird playing someone else's. Little things annoy you, and you can brush it off. But when it's in like my house, it has to. It sounds really OCD and anal, but it has to play like perfectly. Like, if the ball drains, it's because it's my fault, or I miss a shot or something. Like, if things are rejecting and shots can't be made and straight down the middle, and I've got a list already of all the things that I've been tweaking, and it's freaking huge. There's about 11 things that I've changed.
So it's not just me. I was saying that there was something about that particular machine where it just felt a little bit off, and especially that the Cliffy type protector that they've got on the scoop there.
Yeah, so got that in the mail today. Mr. Pinball had some ready to go, so I didn't have to order it from Cliffy in the US. It's amazing the difference that it makes. I mean, pinball really is a game of millimeters. Like 1 millimeter, like even less than that. The difference between the thickness of the JJP supplied scoop protector and the Cliffy one, in your hand, you're like, oh, does this really make a difference? Yes, it does. It makes a difference between like an insane amount of rejects. Maybe it's because this one has a playfield protector on it as well. And the last issue, which I haven't figured out yet, is basically the right orbit keeps on rejecting because Yeah, I don't know. If you haven't bought a dialed in yet, I don't recommend getting the playfield protector, even if you're going to put it on site, because it's just going to frustrate people. The right orbit, which turns into the right ramp, so to speak, because of the playfield protector, the ball is like 0.5 mil higher than it should be. So when you hit the orbit perfectly, it is hitting on the edge of where the left orbit joins the orbit. It kind of like jumps over. And if you hit it really hard, like on the fly, it'll jump and go through the orbit instead of going up the ramp. And I don't know if I can fix that, because unless I dial the strength of the flipper way down, but I have it set up at like I think around 7.5, 8 degrees. So I need strong flippers. Anyway, I'll report back, but dialed in is in the house. I've got it for about a month, I think. Not long, so I'm pretty much just going to be talking about dialed in every episode. So I'm not going to be playing anything else. So that's dialed in. Thank you to Andy. Sorry, and the motor. Remember on the stream how the guy wouldn't move?
Yes.
Yeah, the motors. I did a whole bunch of tests. The motors is foobarred. It's stuffed. So I emailed JJP. They replied on Sunday, which was great. And I'm going to get a new one sent down. And thanks to Ron from Slam Tilt Podcast, John Carson, and Michael Kirst for all the tips. I've messaged all three of them asking for little tidbits and asking them to send me photos of this and that. So thank you.
Fantastic.
What did you get up to, Marty?
Oh, do you know, I haven't really played a lot of pinball this week. I did actually stream Wizard of Oz twice. And, it's, as I've said before, it's a bit of a grind, Wizard of Oz, and my machine, I've got it set up very, very tough. So it is very brutal, and for those people that were watching, you'll see that many times we've just plunged and out the right outline, missing...
It's like a magnet.
I know.
Like a magnet.
And it always just happens to miss one of the rollovers for Toto, so you don't even get the ball back. So... that was it. It's still fun. I still managed to get, some good games, and you still do have the grand champion on my game. However, I had a killer first ball, and I ended up on like 1.7 million after the first ball. Second ball drain, third ball drain. It was probably still 1.7 when I finished.
If you got 1.7, you would have had a couple of extra balls in there as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I've got to make mine easier, because the only person who plays Wizard of Oz is my wife, and she's so frustrated when she plays it. And I realize, like, this can be her machine and the kids' machine, because they absolutely love it. I love it too, but I'm just not in the mood to play it for the last, 1 year. So I should just really make it easy, because there's no point in having a brutal game that I'm not playing. It's not going to make anyone better at pinball if I'm not playing it. So I think I'm going to... I don't know, can you make it easier? What do you do? Just put a really long ball save on there like that. I said that left, if you use the upper flipper, that left, the sideways action, the left outlane it's like a big magnet sucking balls in. Yep.
So the main thing I've done is I've made There's No Place Like Home a little bit easier, and I've turned the timer off. And I did that mainly because it would happen that many times that you would get down the left outlane, and getting to that mode it just wasn't fun. So taking the timer off means that you can at least take your time, and it's slightly less painful.
Okay.
But definitely put the ball save on, even if it's only a 5 or 10 second ball save. It doesn't have to be long, but there's nothing worse than plunge out. And I know people will say that's it's cheating, you're making it easier, but it's a home game, so
yeah, you set up any way you want.
Yep, exactly.
Especially if it's for the wife who's I'm trying to get into pinball. So, but she loves dialed in. And my little kid, who's 6 years old, she got the selfie mode straight away, and she had so much fun. She was like, "How do I get into that mode again?" And I didn't have the balls to say, like, you can't. Like, you have to go around. You have to hit the bob targets like 20 times. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm like, well, you might get it next time you play. She's like, well, can you just like turn it off and turn it on again? She wants to be in the selfie mode and the emoji mode all the time. So we'll see how we go.
Oh, there you go.
Got any emails this week, Marty?
Yeah, we got a good one. So this is from a good friend of the podcast and also of Melbourne Silverball League stream. This is Dr. Curly Tech, and he's talking about pinball code. So he said, while I haven't really explored pinball code in any depth, I've worked in a few video game and software development environments. I understand that there are complexities with the process and many factors that can affect how long things take. But seriously, what is it about pinball coding that takes so long? Especially with how code must be shared game to game, as discussed on episode 18. Whole slabs of the code would and should be identical across machines that are using the same base code system. Obviously there's art, music and sound effects that has to go in, and different modes and scoring across the games, but the nuts and bolts of it, code that responds to switch hits and timing, is surely all well established and readily transferred between machines. So do the manufacturers need bigger coding teams? He said, I was quite impressed with the 30% complete code on Pirates of the Caribbean, but have been disappointed, as many people have, with release code, and hell, even code 2 years past release on a number of Stern machines.
Do you want me to respond to that?
Yeah, I do. I've read it out, you respond.
Well, yeah, I'm not an expert on this, but it is weird that, Williams back in the day were churning out, obviously there are a lot more, they're simpler games, but they were releasing code complete games within a couple of months. So are programmers, working part-time at the moment, or does the complexity of the games make the code exponentially harder? Like, having double the code, does that make it 4 times harder to do than 2 times harder, because of everything balancing out, because of the complexity, because of like the LCD stuff now? I think they can blame it on the LCD because there's so many DMD games that needed code. So
that's right. I also think it's the way, a couple of things. I think it's the way that people play games now. I think they are looking for complex scenarios, so they're trying to and it's what Steve Bowden was saying about Lyman, how Lyman layers things, and the layering of these things means there's multiple times moments can intersect to create magic moments, and so I think that's potentially what they're trying to do, is trying to capture those moments. I also think the other thing is that there's a lot more, documented criticism. Like it's actually very, because of social media, etc., anything that they get wrong is just plastered everywhere, so maybe they do spend that much more time trying to avoid that scenario.
Yeah, and I remember when Kiss Code was going to come out, kind of the Heavens on Fire one, they were teasing it on Facebook, and then I think there was a last minute bug which delayed it by 2 weeks, but it's kind of like what Steve Bowden was saying just before. Like programming's hard, and when there's a bug, it's not just a matter of putting it through a program and you say find the bug, and then it goes, oh, it's online this. You have to sift through it and find it yourself. Like Dialed In, when it was crashing because when you took the 10th photo, that's when it crashed. Stuff like that, like how do you find that information? Because when it crashes, it crashes. So I don't know. I hope one day we can get a coder on the show. I don't know who would do it. I don't think the Lyman's a pretty shy guy. I think I've bagged Dwight too much, and possibly Lonnie. Not bagged, but I've mentioned Dwight code too many times. So,
well, who was the guy that coded Magic Girl?
Apple juice, apple sauce, apple something.
Apple juice. He'll come on.
Will he?
Yeah, he listens. Come on, and talk to us about coding. We'd be actually be. You know what? We'd also
the
be really.
Guy. How about the spooky guy?
Yeah, I'd also like to be really keen to hear about the coding experience and not the controversy, but just the coding experience of what approach you take and what he did take with Magic Girl. Anyway, okay. Get in touch.
Done. Hey, I was listening to another podcast this week, and did you invite Canada onto the show?
No. Did you?
No. Apparently we have. One of us has.
Really? Wasn't me. You did? You've been good friends with him for a while. I thought you must have.
We're best mates. Well, geez, he's on Skype now. Should we just add him to the call?
Yeah.
This guy's always on.
Go for it.
All right. If I drop out, just give him a quick interview. All right, 1 sec.
Doop, 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 boop.
Hey, guys. Hey, Aussies. Oh, you guys. Your episodes are too long. You're ruining it for me. You're ruining it.
Hey, Chris. How are you? It's Martin here.
Great. Bubba. Bubba, get off me. He's on heat. Get off, Bubba.
Look, we're actually nearing the end of our podcast tonight. I've just got a couple of questions for you. What do you think of Batman 66?
Oh, man, the theme integration is horrible, man. Like the crane? What has the crane even got to do? George Gomez, you're ruining pinball, man. Lyman Sheets, what are you doing? Stop coding Elvira in your basement. It's horrible. It's the biggest cash grab ever.
So, I've heard that you're actually buying one. So, what do you think now?
Oh, man, Batman 66, man. Lyman's the best, man. Batman 66, great theme integration, great theme. Christopher Franchi, he's my man. He's my friend, my Facebook friend. I love Batman 66.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Chris.
I gotta go take Bubba for a walk, man. He's on heat. He's humping my leg. Can you hear him in the background?
Well, thanks, and maybe we'll get you on again next year.
All right. Thanks, man. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
There you go. There was Kaneda.
Oh, did I miss him?
Yeah, did that... No, that was him just now. Did it mute on you?
Yeah, well, I could hear him, though. He was saying man a lot. I don't know if he says man.
Well, apparently we invited him on our show. We've now fulfilled our obligation, so that's all great. Well, that's it. Are you going to sing me out?
I am. Do you want a bit of Toto?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. It's not in the way that you stay till the end. It's not in the way you look or the things that you say that you do. Hold the line. Ba-na-na-na. Love isn't always on time. Oh, whoa, whoa. That's for you, Stacey.
You'll sing out to the best. Thank you, and thank you everybody for listening another week.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.